Driver. Let's do... I was once in a theatrical production of Oliver, and do you know what? The director told me I was the most convincing Nancy he'd ever seen. So I thought that was quite a nice compliment. So I'm going to recreate that with you now. A little bit of Nancy and Oliver. Here we go, darling. I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you mean everything to me. I know that I'd go anywhere for your smile. Anywhere for your smile is everywhere I'd see. You know what, darling? I would climb a hill, anything. Wear a daffodil, anything. Leave you all my will, anything. Even lighten the old bill. I think I'd have to, I'd risk anything for your kiss. Anything, yes, I'd do anything, oh, anything for you. Now it's your turn to sing back. I'd do anything.
I'll do anything for you, dear. Anything, your smile, anything.
I see, I know that I go anywhere.
Anywhere, you mean anything.
It's beautiful. Now tell me what you'd like me to do to you tonight, darling. Is that legal? He's rude. Well, maybe. I'd swallow, I'd risk life and limb to see your boys that swim. Yes, I'd do anything. Anything for you. Catch a kangaroo, go to Timbuktu. Would you lace my shoe? Would you lace my shoe? While you're down there, I'd go anywhere for your smile. Anywhere, yes, I'd Mr. Clark! Oh, lovely boy, lovely boy. Oh, you are going to be a lucky Gluck, aren't you, darling? You are. I was sitting on his knee, I could feel everything, and I know he's not Jewish, let me put it that way. Oh, love it. Now, darling, are you worried about getting married, future Mrs. Gluck?
I've waited 16 years.
You've waited 16 years? Gary Glitter used to say that. Now, so, why have you waited 16 years? Have you been dating for 16 years?
It'll be 17 years to get married.
Now, you're very slim for someone who's been dating for 17 years, darling. Because it's true, isn't it? Everybody says, oh, when you get married, you put on weight, don't they? Don't they? When you're in a content relationship, you put on weight. Well, I'm looking around the room and no one's that fucking happy, let me tell you. I've done a little bit of research on this because I do so many hen nights. I see the single girls, I see the married girls. I know why we all put on weight when we're married. Do you want to know why it is? When you're single, or let's put it this way, yes, when you're single, you go out for a night out with the girls because you've not had a good night out in ages, don't you? When you get out, you're on the lash because it's your one night out without him. Then everybody chats you up because that's sod's law. When you're off the market, they all chat you up. You feel so bloody horny. And then when you get home, oh no, I'm talking about single ones, aren't I? They all chat you up, you feel very horny. You get home, you're a single girl. What do we do when we're drunk, girls? We fancy a little bit of munchie, don't we? We look in the fridge, see if there's any chocolate. And we look in, the fridge is empty, and we think, oh, fuck it, I'm going to bed. Now, when you're married, you go out, you have exactly the same evening, you get chatted up, you go home, and you're so bloody horny because all these cute boys have been talking to you all night, and you think, when I get home, I'm going to give him a bloody good seeing to. You get home, you throw money at the taxi driver, you skip up the path, up the stairs, open the door to the bedroom, and you think, oh, fuck it, I'm going to the fridge. And that is why When you are in a relationship, you put on a hell of a lot of weight. Now, are you going anywhere on your honeymoon? Cyprus. Oh, daughter of the forces? Yeah, oh. I've done my fair bit for helping the heroes too, I have, let me tell. I go out to Germany every year at Christmas and sing for the soldiers. This is no word of a lie. Apparently if you're drunk I look like Catherine Jenkins, so it works a bloody treat. But, so you're going to the lovely Cyprus. Now, have you asked him what would make his holiday extra special? Because I don't know about you girls, but do any of you feel like when things are starting to wane in the bedroom, you need to go on holiday and have a bloody good time, don't you? You need to revitalise your sex life. So how many of the girls in the room are in the same situation as me, where the only time you feel intimacy is if your finger breaks through the toilet paper? A few of you are in that situation. I was in that situation. So I said to my fella, right, I'm booking us a sexy holiday. We're getting a cabin on a beach in Bangkok. We're going to go and have a lovely time down in Thailand. Now, I want to do whatever would make you really horny. So, what is that? And he said, well, it's kind of embarrassing really, but I'd really like to wear handcuffs. Looking around the room, there's a fair few people in here that have worn handcuffs, I'm sure. Not always in the bedroom either. I thought, well, that's easy fixed, isn't it? So I was packing our suitcases, one for me, one for him. As I packed our cases, I threw 0.5 kilogram of cocaine in his suitcase, and he's been wearing handcuffs ever since down in Thailand. I've made his wish come true. But it did end up that I was quite single on the holiday. Now, if you are going to smuggle drugs, you know, some people need a pension plan, don't they? So let me give you a little tip. If you do want to get into drug smuggling, don't do the typical trick of putting it in a condom and sticking it up your bum. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you're going to do it, sir, if you really want to do it, what you need to do... Oh, Dan has smuggled drugs. Have you smuggled drugs? You naughty boy. You can't smuggle drugs with a face like that because people will pull you over. I went through airport security once with a bit of coke in my handbag and I thought I'm going to get pulled over because people always accuse me of being guilty. Don't know why, I think I look quite innocent. So there I am, and I said to my friend who looks like a choir boy, here mate, I've got some coke in my handbag. Would you mind just going to the toilet and sticking it up your bum so that we can both go through security? And do you know what? He did it. I mean, that's a pretty good mate, isn't it? And I felt so guilty because when we got through to departures, I didn't realise I could have just bought another can in W.H. Smith's. But no, if you are going to smuggle drugs back into the country, put them in a condom like you normally would, but then slip them inside a dog's bottom and put the dog in the hold. Because when you get to Heathrow and their dog sniffs your dog's arse, no one's going to suspect a fucking thing, are they? And you're in scot-free. How do you think I wear these diamonds? So, now, I went off on this lovely little sexual retreat, but sadly I was on my own because he got arrested. So I had to try and find some action, and I was trying all day on the beach, trying to chat people up. I got nowhere. So I went to this bar late at night, and this guy disappeared behind a beaded curtain. And when he came back, he had this massive smile on his face, and I said, what's going on behind there then? And he said, oh, it's marvellous. It's all in darkness, and you can have sex with anyone you like. And I thought, oh, I fancy a bit of that. So I walked through, and do you know what? It was all leather hammocks hanging from the ceiling with people lying in them, just waiting for any random to come up and screw them. And I thought, this is a bit easy, isn't it? So I walked around, looking around. I couldn't find an empty hammock anywhere. So I pushed open a door, in more darkness, felt around, eventually found an empty hammock. Do you know what? I lay there for 8 hours and nobody bloody touched me. I realised why after 8 hours, because the sun came up and I was in a rotary area on the owner's roof terrace. It was terrible. So then I went back a second night and I thought, I'm going to try this again. So I went in and there was no hammocks free again. So I thought, my luck just isn't in here, is it? So as I was going to leave, this guy grabbed my hand and he said, darling, why don't you do me? And I said, well, I don't really have the kit, darling. I couldn't do it. So he said, well, that's all right, I've got a strap on, you can do it. So I thought, oh, well, I've never done any uphill gardening, let's give this a go. So I popped the strap on and standing there next to his hammock, and let me tell you, if anyone ever calls leather sex casual, they're damn right, because all you do is stand there and thrust once and they swing back about 30 times. You can stand there doing nothing. It's marvellous. And if you like to drink a martini, rest it on his stomach and it stirs itself. It's wonderful. So I'm standing there, and one thrust every 30 seconds, and I'm just, you know, plucking your nails, having fun. And he says, oh, that's amazing. I've never felt anything like it. And I thought, oh, I'm doing well, my first time, and he really likes it. So then he says, do you have a paddle in your handbag? And I said, no, why would I have a paddle in my handbag? And he said, well, it's just that when someone's screwing me up the bum, I really like it if they beat me as well. And I thought, isn't that sod's law? My first time up shit creek and I've got no paddle. You couldn't fucking write it, could you? Ridiculous. So what I did, I pulled out a tube of super glue and I squeezed it between his butt cheeks and squidged them together, and he said, what the hell are you doing? So I said, well, my mum always told me if you can't beat them, join them. So that's exactly what I did.